Hello and welcome to class 10 Information Technology lectures. Today we will be studying Unit 1 Electronic Spreadsheet Advanced, and in this video we will be covering session 1. So session 1 is analyze data using scenarios and goal seek. So in this the topic that we have to study first is what is CalC. CalC, you can go to this application using LibreOffice and then CalC spreadsheet option. Now basically CalC is a spreadsheet component of LibreOffice and we can enter the data. Usually numeric data is entered and then the data is manipulated to gain certain results. So there are certain scenarios like what if some condition is there, then what changes will be there in the data. Then these are the various other features that are provided by CalC. That is database function or dynamic chart or macros, ability to open, edit Excel sheets, import and export Excel sheets, HTML, CSV, PDF, etc. The second topic that we have to study is using consolidated data. So for this we have to go in the option data consolidate. Now it provides us a combined data by merging two or more cells and we get a new range by combining those two data. So first we have to define the range and then we have to consolidate it. Now for this purpose I have already created this sheet over here. Now in this we can see 2018, 2019 and 3 names. So we can consider that these are the 3 sellers and month wise the sales has been shown over here. So 2018 sales and 2019 sales. Now suppose we want to know for a particular seller the sum of both the years of sale. So for that we will use consolidate. So first of all we have to define the range. So suppose this is the first range that I want to add. So I will just write range 1. I will give the name range 1. Then this is the second range. I will give the name as range 2. So then after that we'll go in data and then consolidate. So this is the consolidate dialog box that will open. So here we have to select the function that we want to perform: count, average, max, min, product. So all these are present. Right now we want the sum, so we are selecting the sum function. Then source data range means that what data ranges I want to add. So I want to add range 1, add, and then range 2 and then add. Then copy results to, we have not defined any range for copying the result earlier, so we can do it now. We can simply select on shrink and then you can see that this is the cell that is selected, A8. A8 is written over here. So from A8 the data will be start showing the result. Now in options we have to select row labels that will display the name of the sellers and column labels that will display the months. Link to data source means that whatever changes we will make in the ranges, according to that the result will also change. So now when I will click on OK, now you can see that here we have got the sum of both the years of sales of the seller. If we talk about Ravi, then 2018 sale was 50 and 2019 sale was 55. So the sum is 105. For Rahul, if we talk about, then it is 40 and 60. So it is 100. So let us see if that link part that we have done, it is working or not. So this is the first and this is the second. Let us make this 50 and enter. Now you can see as soon as 50 is entered, this changes to 100. If this is 60 and if I change this to 40 and this also changes to 100. So this was the purpose of linking. The next topic that we have to study is creating subtotals. So subtotals are basically implemented in two ways, using the subtotal function or using the data subtotals from the menu bar. So to insert subtotals in a sheet, these are the steps that have been given. So let us see the steps practically. For this purpose, I have already created this sheet. Now suppose this is the date, item and the seller, and the quantities we can enter according to your choice. You can take any database. So this is a demo database that I have taken over here, and these are the values. You can see over here that keyboards have been purchased from different sellers, and then mouse also, mouse 15 mouse have been purchased from Ravi over here, and then 11 again, and then from Technocom we have purchased 14 mouse. So what if we want to know that how many keyboards in total we have purchased irrespective of the seller? We just want to know how many keyboards we are having in the warehouse, how many mouse we are having, and how many pen drives we are having. So for this we have to create the subtotal. So here we will select the data, and then we will go in data and then subtotals. Now this is the subtotal dialog box that appears. Up to 3 groups we can create. Like we want to have the group subtotal. So for that purpose, LibreOffice offers up to 3 groups. Now let us see what is the meaning of the group. Group by date. So suppose I want to group by item, because I want to know that particular item how many I am having. So I will select group by item. Then calculate subtotal for. I want to know the quantity of the particular item, so I will select quantity over here. Then I will click, I just want the sum, use the function sum. So okay. Now you can see over here, this is the keyboard sum. 85 total keyboards are there irrespective of the seller. Now grouping has been done on the basis of item. Then mouse total is given over here, and pen drive total is given over here, and then the grand total is given over here. Now suppose we want to have 2 groups of sum. So for that again we will select this data subtotals. So first group is suppose item and quantity, and then second group I want to have group by seller and quantity. This is the second group that I want to create. Now first group is of item. I want to group the items and then find the quantity sum accordingly, and then I want to group on the basis of seller and then find the quantity of the items. So when I click on OK, now you can see over here that seller wise the sum is being shown over here, and product wise also the sum has been shown over here. Then here also seller wise the sum is shown, and then the item wise, that is the pen drive, item wise also the sum is shown, and then the grand sum is shown over here. So this is how we work with subtotal. Now in group section we have this option. So if you want to page break between the groups so that you come to know that what sum we are actually displaying, so you can page break over there. You want to have the case sensitivity, you want the pre-sorting, ascending order, descending order. So all these options are present. If you want to have a custom sort order, then we can create that. Now when we will click on OK, now you can see that the page breaks have been inserted on the basis of the groups. So first on the basis of seller this has been done, and then on the basis of items the grouping has been done. The next topic that we have to study is using what if scenarios. So basically the scenario is what? It is a tool to test what if questions. So every scenario has a name, and it can be edited and formatted according to our need. So we can create scenarios according to our own need, and then we can apply the what if conditions and check that what changes will be done if various scenarios occur. So for creating the scenarios, this is a demo file that I have created. Now in this, principal amount is there, rate of interest and time period. Accordingly, we will calculate the simple interest. So the formula for simple interest is, already I have written, is equal to, then brackets, B1 into B2 into B3 upon 100, because the formula for simple interest is P into R into T upon 100. So P is in B1 cell, so that is why it is written B1. Then rate of interest is in B2, so B2 into B3. So suppose this is my data and I want to have various scenarios for that. Means suppose if I change the principal, then what will be the simple interest? Right now also, if I will change the principal, then simple interest will change. But because of scenarios, what happens is, suppose there are some frequently used principal amount, so again and again I have to change it over here and see. So instead of changing the value again and again over here for some frequently used amount, I can create various scenarios over here. So now we will just select this over here, tools and scenarios. Now here we can give the name of the scenario. Suppose this is the first scenario, so I am giving S1. Here is the comment. It is optional. If you want to mention, you can mention anything you want to write. Like this is the first scenario for 1000, so I am writing 1000. Then display border, you can change the color of the border, that will be there. And then you will click on OK. So this is the first scenario that has been created. Now again, suppose another frequently used principal amount is 5000. So now if 5000 is principal, then 200 will be the simple interest. Now I will select this, go to tools, scenario, then I will name it as S2, scenario 2. I can change the border color. Okay. So this is scenario 2. Another, suppose if I consider that the frequently used principal is 10,000. So accordingly, the simple interest will change. I will select this, tools and scenarios, the name of the scenario, and then the color. Now what is the advantage? Now you can see the three scenarios that I have created, that you can see by clicking on this arrow. So if you want to know what is the result of scenario 1, then simply you can click on scenario 1. There is no need to change the value of principal again and again over here. Similarly, you can change the value of rate of interest or time period. Then scenario 2, you can see this value, scenario 2. Scenario 3, you can see the change in scenario 3. So we can create several scenarios for any given range. In the screenshot, I have explained the similar thing, like principal amount 20,000, 10,000 and 15,000. These are the three different scenarios that I have created, and then we can view the scenarios by this drop down over here. In settings, we have the display border. We can change the border. Then copy back means it will copies any change you make to the values of scenario cell. Means if you make any changes in the cells, then those will be reflected. Copy entire sheet will add to your document a sheet, and it will permanently display the new scenario in full. Prevent changes to a scenario will enable as a copy back, so the sheet will be protected. So if this is there, if the tick is there, then the manual changes cannot be made. The next topic that we have to study is what if tools. So like scenarios, we can use the option data and multiple operations. It is basically a planning tool for what if questions. Now the difference is that unlike a scenario, the multiple operation tool does not present the alternative versions in the same cell or with the drop down. Instead, the multiple operation tool, it creates a formula or array a separate cell showing the results and applying the formula to that list of alternative values for the variables that are used in the formula. So how to use this? We will go for this option. We have to use data and multiple operations. Multiple operations can be done in two ways. One is row, one is column. So let us see this what if tool practically. This is the principal and this is the simple interest that will be calculated. Now if there are too many values for principal amount, so instead of creating different scenarios, what we can do is we can enter the different principal amount over here, like 78520. This is the principal amount. One principal amount is this and one principal amount is this. So this is the principal amount and I want to know the simple interest for these principals. So instead of creating scenarios, what we can do is simply on this sheet only we can see the time will be 1 year and the rate of interest is 4 years. So now what we will do is we will select this principal column and the next column in which we want the simple interest. So in this column what we will do is we'll go in data and then multiple operations. Now here the first setting is formulas. So we will select the cell in which our formula is inserted. So formula is inserted over here. So we'll select this cell. Then column input cells means from which value we want to exchange. Now because we want the variation in principal, so we will select the B1 cell here and then we will click on OK. Now you can see that accordingly the simple interest has been calculated. Next we have if we want to display these values column wise. So suppose I have this principal over here and SI over here, and now I want to write the values row wise. These are the various principal amount for which I want to know the interest. So again we'll just select these over here, then go to data, multiple operations, formula cell. This is the formula cell. Now here I will select row input because I want the values in the row. We have to exchange with this, so we'll select over here OK. Now you can see again that based on the principal amount the simple interest has been calculated. So on the same sheet we can do this. We can change the principal and accordingly we can find the simple interest for the particular amount, rate of interest and time period. The next topic is using goal seek. Now usually when we create a formula we give the values and then result is displayed according to the values that we have inserted. Now using goal seek is the contrast of this. Till now what we were doing, we were providing the principal amount, rate of interest and time, and accordingly the simple interest was calculated. Now what if some customer wants to know that suppose I want a certain amount of simple interest, like I want 5,000 simple interest in 1 year or 2,000 simple interest in 1 year, then what principal amount should I deposit? So for that we have this goal seek tool. So let us see the goal seek option practically. Now right now we can see that if principal is 12,500, rate of interest is 4, time period is 1, then the simple interest is 500. Now what if I want to know that simple interest, if I want to have a simple interest of 400 rupees, then what should be the principal amount? So for such case we have this goal seek option. So now what we will do is we will go in tools and goal seek. Now here formula cell means the cell that is containing the formula. So here formula is in B5, so we will select B5. Target value, suppose I want simple interest of 400, so I'll write target value over here. Now variable cell means I want to know the principal, or I want to know the rate, or I want to know the time period to get simple interest of 400. means you want to know the principal amount, or you want to know the rate of interest, or you want to know the time period. So suppose I want to know the principal amount, so I'll click in variable cell and the principal amount. Click on OK. Now you will see goal seek successful. Result is 10,000. Insert the result into the variable cell. You will click yes. So now you can see that if you want a simple interest of 400 within 1 year at a rate of interest 4%, then the principal amount that you should deposit in the bank should be 10,000. The next topic that we have to study is solver. So solver is accessed from the option tools and solver, and this amounts to a more elaborate form of goal seek. So the difference basically is that the solver, it will deal with multiple unknown values or variables, and it is specifically designed to minimize or maximize the result according to a set of rules that we define. So for this, we'll just go back to the file, and suppose this is the example that we are considering. So the formula we have already applied over here, rate of interest and time period. So now we'll go in tools and solver. Now in this, the target cell means B5. Why B5? Because the formula is there in B5. So target cell will be B5. Now if you want to maximize, minimize, or you want to give a certain value, you can give. So right now we are using certain value. So value, any value you can give over here. Then by changing cells means in this example we will use principal amount. So by changing what? By changing which cells the solver should solve the value. So by changing this cell. Now here there are multiple options, like you can give the range of cell reference, like you cannot have the value greater than or less than this. Then you will click on solve. Now you can see solving successfully finished, result is 500. Do you want to keep the result or do you want to restore previous values? So if you will click on keep result, then what will happen is that the result that has been calculated, it will be there. If you will click on restore previous, then the previous value will be there. So if I click on keep result, then you can see that I was not knowing the principal amount, and now with the help of solver I have found the principal amount. Now the basic difference between goal seek and solver is that here we are having the limiting conditions also. In goal seek we don't have the limiting conditions. So the target cell is the cell which contains the formula. So this is the target cell. Value, suppose I want a simple interest of 1000. By changing cell means I want to change this cell. Now limiting condition we can give. What is the limiting condition? Like this is the cell reference over here. So the cell in which you want to put the limit, that you should select over here, that is B1 I have selected, and then the range. So like I am writing that this value should be less than equal to 50,000. Then I will solve. So now you can see result is 1000. I wanted the result as 1000. And accordingly the principal has changed, and it is fulfilling the condition that I have a limitation that I cannot give the principal amount more than 50,000. So it has given me within the range that I have given over here, and I'll click on keep result. So now we can see that the simple interest that I wanted, this is there, plus I wanted the principal amount to be less than 50,000. So the amount that was given to me was less than 50,000, and if you calculate using the PRT upon 100 formula, then 1000 you will get. So this is the basic use of solver. So this was all about session 1. In the next video we'll continue with session 2. Thank you.